You ever see a war break out over a piece of land that barely shows up on the map? I have. And believe me, it's a whole lot uglier than the movies make it look. I'm not talking tanks or trenches, just paperwork, pettiness, and power plays waged with smiles sharp enough to slice right through the soul of a quiet man. You'd think building your own cabin with your own two hands, out where the only things watching are deer and the wind in the pines, would buy you a little peace. But let me tell you, some folks, they can't stand the idea of someone being truly free. I spent a decade carving my home out of the Colorado wilds, up above Briar Creek Lake, where the ponderosa pines groan when the wind comes off the water just right. No road signs, no newsletters stuck in the door. Just the sound of sawdust falling and sweat running down into the beams. My beams, made out of old barnwood and deadfall, every nail driven in slow and honest. When I first took the deed from my uncle in 2007, the place was pure wilderness. My friends call me nuts. You're really going to live out there? Like a mountain ghost. And, yeah, maybe that's exactly what I wanted. After 2 tours and a lifetime building things that just got blown to hell, I figured it was time to build something that could last. That land, it was mine. No mortgage, no liens, no shared driveways or flower beds. Just 10 acres and a legal description burned into county records older than half the towns nearby. I built slow. Took me years. On my birthday, I finished the roof. Didn't bother with candles. Just let the rain tap on that cedar like it was baptizing the whole damn dream. When the county inspector came, he looked around, let out a low whistle, and said it was more solid than half the prefab junk on the lake. For once, I felt like I'd made something nobody could take from me. That's when I made my mistake. I thought I was done fighting. Mounted some cameras, habit from another life. Posted up 3 signs, private property, and no trespassing, not part of any HOA. I figured, who's going to bother a crusty old vet out here? Turns out I was wrong. Day 2 in my new home. Barely got my boots off when I hear this parade of footsteps on my gravel. 3 of them, marching like they're heading to battle. Leading the charge is a woman with a helmet of blonde hair, beige pantsuit, and a clipboard like it's some kind of sword. She grins. One of those tight ones you see right before someone ruins your day. "Mr. Lynch, I presume," she says like maybe I'm an imposter on my own dirt. "Can I help you?" I ask, not really wanting the answer. She straightens up. Karen Brooks, president of the Lakewood Garden Hills Homeowners Association. She's got backup. 2 beige shadows with binders full of bylaws. "We're here to discuss your recent construction and review your compliance documentation." I almost laughed. You're going to need to back that whole sentence up and start from reality. Her face went rigid. She starts talking about visual territory, how my cabin is within sight of Lakewood, so I have to comply with their color charts and fence rules. Because, get this, if your HOA can see you across the water, they think they own you. She lays it out. Exterior colors, shoreline modifications, even your roof, community matters. I just stare, trying to decide if this is real life or some kind of bad sitcom. "So if I stain my deck the wrong brown, you'll what? Fine me? Burn it down?" I point at my sign, "Not part of any HOA." She sniffs. Signs don't change legal status. "You have 30 days to submit compliance or we'll proceed with enforcement." I tell her she's got 60 seconds to get off my land or I'll treat it as trespassing. She glances at her backup. They look nervous. She gives me one last death glare and says, "I look forward to resolving this for your sake." Their heels crunch down my driveway like they're claiming territory for a queen. For a minute, I think maybe I scare them off. I patch the dock, hang my uncle's old swing, drink coffee to the sound of water and wind, feeling like I've finally earned this quiet. But control freaks never quit easy. The first warning comes in an envelope so fancy it looks like a wedding invite. Formal notice of noncompliance, all caps. Says I'm in violation of HOA Construction Ordinance 7A, and they're backdating fines at $100 a day. For cabin on land, that's not even theirs. I scan it, send it to Jenna, my lawyer, my old squad mate from Iraq, a woman who once shut down a colonel with nothing but a raised eyebrow. She calls me that afternoon. Garrett, these people are trying HOA voodoo on federal land law. That's like throwing pixie dust at a freight train. We send the whole packet, deed, permits, tax records, even timestamp photos to the HOA with a nice notarized rebuttal. That's when Karen comes back herself, this time in a white Lexus, holding a packet. It's a revised declaration from the HOA. I don't take it. I tell her, try a mailbox like everyone else. She tries a new angle. Your property is under a legacy agreement. My father, Arthur Brooks, had a verbal contract with your uncle. The lot was intended for my son's residence. I almost burst out laughing. My uncle's been dead since 2007. She insists intent holds weight. I tell her, you are not the community, Karen. You're a bored retiree with a Napoleon complex. She threatens. This is your final warning. I answer, the only thing you're transitioning into is a federal lawsuit. We file a cease and desist. She responds with a fake community resolution, even more laughable than the last. It's forged, badly. But the point isn't the paperwork, it's the campaign. The next day, the road is papered with flyers. Emergency community vote to preserve character. Immediate action required. Karen's name in bold. A neighbor kid, sweet kid, always polite, hands me one and apologizes for the world. That night, I watched the HOA meeting on my security cam. Karen, center stage, holding up her fake agreement like it's gospel. They vote to request county review. No legal weight, just enough noise to spread rumors. The next day, my mailbox is stuffed with eviction notices, threats, temporary occupancy suspensions, all on bogus letterhead. I document everything. Photos, videos, names. Jenna tells me, they'll try to create momentum. Don't let the noise get to you. Let the law do the heavy lifting. I take her advice, but I up my own game. More cameras, a new lock, every detail logged. When the kid comes by again, he says they offered money for putting up flyers. That's when I realize Karen's manufacturing consensus. We send another demand to the HOA. Stop the fake documents. Jenna requests a board meeting. It's a bureaucratic trap. Sign for the letter, and it proves you're involved. Refuse, and it looks like you're hiding. That evening, I look out over the lake and realize this isn't about shingles or paint. It's about power, about people rewriting truth with enough noise and paper. When Jenna files the lawsuit, the folder's thick enough to stop a bullet. Over 70 pages, deeds, tax records, logs, camera stills, side-by-sides of forged signatures. We add claims for defamation, property interference, attempted coercion, and fraudulent simulation of public authority. Karen countersues. She drags her son into it. Zach, a man-child with a credit card fraud record and a talent for building tree houses on land he doesn't own. Jenna fin d'earth, email, chatlog, whistleblower. Karen's messages, Zach deserves this. Post about community disruption. If we control the tone, facts don't matter. And in 30 days, he'll be gone. Or we'll make sure the county sees him as the squatter. That's when I realize I'm up against more than pettiness. I'm up against a whole system built on bullying. One night, I come home to find a sign, unsafe structure, pending HOA action. My cameras catch Zach himself, staking the threat in my driveway. He flips off the lens like a punk in a bad movie. Jenna files for a protective order. Next day, a neighbor, Marcia, gardening gloves even in winter, hands me an envelope. HOA newsletters never sent to non-members, with minutes plotting enforcement agents for reclaimed land. I thank her. I don't like bullies, she says. We file an emergency injunction. No HOA member can come near my property. Landon, our investigator, finds that my uncle registered the land as a conservation parcel. No transfer without county review. That's 2 legal locks, deadbolt and chain. I think maybe, finally, things will cool off. Then, One morning, my phone goes nuts, motion alerts. Cameras show 3 guys on my porch, Zach among them, clipboard, vest, the works. I call the sheriff. By the time I get home, 2 cruisers are there. Zach's in cuffs. His buddies admit Karen sent them, said I was unlikely to be home. Jenna finds more, Karen's internal chat. We go in Thursday, he'll be gone. Make it look like an environmental sweep. If he retaliates, it helps our narrative. Now, we've got them on criminal intent. Jenna files for an emergency restraining order. Karen goes live on Facebook, crying about dangerous loners with military paranoia, trying to spin herself as the victim. But the community's waking up. Neighbors slip me printouts, Karen bragging about redeveloping my land. Jenna hands the file to the DEA. Attempted coercion of property through fraudulent community authority. The harassment keeps up. Drones buzz overhead. Someone dumps trash. Another sign goes up. This land was promised. Jenna says don't engage, but I call on a friend, Briggs, ex-sniper. We set up alarms, lights, fencing. That Friday, at 3 a.m., sensors catch 2 figures by my dock. I call the sheriff. One gets away, the other Zach caught with bolt cutters, lighter fluid. Now, it's arson, probation violation. The news picks it up. Karen calls her son troubled, but doubles down, demands a county review of my land boundaries. Jenna laughs. Let her try. That's a federal offense waiting to happen. We prep one last counterattack. Every document, GPS map, affidavit, tax log, even a zoning proposal Karen filed in 2010, trying to grab my land quietly. Rejected by the board. But it shows she's been gunning for this for a decade. Court day comes. Snow melting outside, the courthouse buzzing. Jenna's binder could anchor a boat. Behind me, neighbors who've seen Karen's bullying before. Jenna lays out every fact. Ownership, deeds, photos, maps, emails, even the footage of Zach's stunts. The judge, stone-faced, cuts through Karen's story. If it's not in writing, it's not before this court. Her lawyer tries to argue intent. Judge shuts him down. Handwriting analyst proves the legacy agreement was faked on a laptop bought 14 years after my uncle died. The county officer confirms my land was never part of the HOA's plans. Karen claims it's all for community harmony. The judge doesn't buy it. After a recess, he rules. My property rights affirmed. The HOA's claims declared fraudulent. Karen personally liable for damages and legal fees. The county's auditing the HOA's books. As the gavel falls, Karen just sits there, pearls dulled under fluorescent lights. The next morning, I sit on my porch, coffee in hand, nothing but wind and water. No more envelopes, no more threats. It's over, or as over as these things get. Karen's mugshot is on the front page. HOA president faces jail for property scheme. The board fractures, half resign, the rest beg forgiveness. The county audits exposing everything. Membership fees for wine, travel, consulting. A few days later, a crew of neighbors, folks I'd never really spoken to, show up with lumber and beer. Heard you could use a dock. We build. Deck, solar panels, a new path. I hang a sign at the gate. 10 years by hand. No son of Karen shall pass. Someone posts it online. Goes viral for a week. Even got a letter from the next county, over. Use your case to stop our HOA from seizing an orchard. Didn't reply. Didn't need to. It meant something. Zach left town, last I heard. I hope he learns what it's like to build something real. As for me, I just keep working. Not to defend, just to live. There's peace in the rhythm, hammer and nail, pine and sweat. There's clarity in ownership, on paper, in soul. I barely check the cameras now. Not because I'm careless, but because nobody comes up that road unless I want them to. That's how it should be, because the truth is freedom, real freedom, it's never just given. You fight for it. You bleed for it. You build it with your own hands. And sometimes, the only justice is knowing you didn't let them take it. So let me ask you, where's the line between community and control? When does defending what's yours become something more? Drop your thoughts below, share your own battles, your own stories, because out here, the only thing stronger than power is people who refuse to back down.